Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about dependency indemnity compensation. That is DIC from the VA. This is a survivor benefit, so the spouse of a veteran, with a payout of up to or even higher than $3,495 and change. There's a bunch of different add-ons that happen with this benefit, just like with traditional service-connected disability, where you have the ability to add on dependents and have a higher rate. You could add on aid and attendance or housebound, those types of things. Same thing happens here with dependency indemnity compensation. So with that, wanted to jump into it, highlight it, explain why it's so important that you get service connected for all of the conditions that you could be service connected for as it relates to this. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. Every person that does that helps to spread this word, so I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so let's jump into it. So dependency indemnity compensation, again, the range of payments, I mean, there's a big range. So, and I'll dive into the specifics. I'll give you the overview right now, but at a minimum, it's $1,612.75 per month tax-free. Dependency indemnity compensation is compensation from the VA for the surviving spouse, and it's affected by COLA. So as we're getting closer to these COLA months and the COLA announcement in October, you will see an effective raise to the payments on DIC, as well as the standard service-connected disability payments and so forth. So with that, again, it can range anywhere from $1,612.75 to $3,495.83 in the example that we will give. And it could even be higher than that. It's just a very individual kind of circumstance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just jump through the VA's website here on DIC, so specifically regarding DIC, and I'm going to highlight that here that it can be for surviving spouses, parents, dependent parents, or dependents like children. So it could be any of these folks, but I'm going to hyper focus on spouse because that is the primary one. If you are a dependent parent, or you have a dependent parent that might be in need of this if you were to pass away, or children, this is something that you want to kind of tuck away somewhere that they can have awareness on, so they know, who they need to talk to, what they need to do in order to kickstart this benefit. All right, so here on the VA's website, if you are the surviving spouse, child, or parent of a service member who died in the line of duty, or the survivor of a veteran who died from a service-related injury or illness. Now, there's a comma, but I'm going to stop here anyway. It can be a little bit deceiving, like all VA mumbo jumbo. I mean, it sounds clear cut, and then we think that we understand what they're saying, and then we miss out on opportunities. So here it says, a survivor of a veteran who died from a service-related injury or illness. Now, here's the thing. Yes and no. So if the veteran, and I'll dive further into it, if a veteran was rated 100% for more than 10 years, and there's even caveats to that, bringing the number down, but if the veteran generally was rated at 100% for 10 years, then the veteran can pass away from anything. It does not need to be a service-related injury or illness that caused the death, and the surviving spouse, parent, dependent, whoever qualifies, would be able to obtain DIC, dependency indemnity compensation. So I don't like that they throw that up at the front, because some people will just stop reading right there. Now, the other aspect where this is a little bit of a gray, fuzzy sentence is the service-connected condition. If you're less than 100%, or you've been 100% but less than 10 years generally, so you need to have this qualifier of having that service-connected condition in play here. If that service-connected condition is listed on the death certificate as either the cause of death or the contributing cause to death. So there's two spots on death certificates, one for cause of death, and then they have another kind of subsection for contributing cause of death. Now, most of the time, contributing cause of death is blank. If it's blank, you need to, and they don't have the service-connected condition listed as the primary, cause of death, then you need to have them add that on service-connected condition on as a contributing cause of death. The quick example here is veteran dies of a heart attack, doesn't have any heart-related illnesses to be considered as a service-connected death. However, they have hypertension. You could go have that death certificate amended and have them add on hypertension as a contributing cause to death due to the heart attack. And then that would open up that qualifier. So again, veteran who died from a service-related injury or illness, or it was a contributing cause, or the veteran was rated 10 years or more and could die of anything, you would be able to get a tax-free monetary benefit called Dependency and Indemnity Compensation, VA DIC. Find out if you can get this benefit. And then moves on here, says that for surviving spouse eligibility, you may be eligible for VA benefits or compensation if you meet these requirements. One of these must be true. You lived with the veteran or the service member without a break until their death. Or if you're separated, you weren't at fault for the separation. And one of these must be true. You married the veteran or service member within 15 years of their discharge from the period of military service during which the qualifying illness or injury started or got worse. Or you were married to the veteran or service member for at least 1 year, or you had a child with the veteran or service member. Now, all of this is going to be in the description below. The main point here is to get the information out so you are aware, so that way you can go talk with an accredited representative to help you file your claim. If you remarried, you can still receive or continue to receive compensation if one of these describes you. If you remarried on or after December 16th, 2003, and you were 57 years of age or older at the time you remarried, or you remarried on or after January 5th, 2021, and you were 55 years of age or older at the time you remarried. So I'm going to jump into these last little parts here, then I'm going to jump over to the dollar aspect. So provide evidence showing that at least one of these is true. The service member died while on active duty for training, or inactive duty training. Or the veteran died from a service-connected illness or injury. Again, remember that you can utilize the contributing cause portion of the death certificate to add those service-connected conditions or condition. Next one is the veteran didn't die from a service-connected injury or illness, but was eligible to receive VA compensation for a service-connected disability rated as totally disabling for a certain period of time. Now, how does that work? This is that 10-year thing that I talked about. Generally, it's the 10-year aspect, but there are other ways. So let's read this. If the veteran's eligibility was due to a rating of totally disabling, that means 100%. Doesn't have to be permanent designation, just the total disabling. They must have been rated this. They must have had this rating for at least 10 years before their death, or since the release from active duty, and for at least 5 years immediately before their death. So in other words, veteran got out of the military, bam, they got 100%. Then they had that 100% for 5.5 years and they died. That would constitute a qualification. Next one is for at least 1 year before their death if they were a former prisoner of war who died after September 30th, 1999. Now there's a notation here. This is important. Totally disabling means the veteran's injuries made it impossible for them to work. That, to me, from the VA's world, sounds a lot like TDIU, total disability, individual unemployability. So the word total, again, is in play with TDIU. So you can be TDIU, you can be just regular standard scheduler 100%, or you can be 100% permanent and total. Anything that's in the 100% payout realm will go ahead and get you qualified. Let's jump over to the dollar figures here so I can give you a quick breakdown on what it looks like with an example. So again, the basic monthly rate, which is $1,612.75, affected by COLA. So the January 1st payment will be higher than that. So $1,612.75 is the minimum. Then you have a bunch of different, we'll call it add-ons that can happen. So the different add-ons are, let's see. So there is the 8-year provision. So that is if the veteran had a VA disability rating of totally disabling, right? So the 100% payout, so TDIU 100%, for at least 8 full years leading up to their death, and you were married to the veteran for those same 8 years, they give you a bump. Some people get this 8-year rule or 8-year provision confused with that's how long the veteran had to be 100% in order to die from anything. No, it's still the 10-year generally. Then there's the 5 and 1, depending on if you got rated 100% right after service or if you were a prisoner of war. But generally, it's the 10-year rule for most veterans. So this 8-year provision is simply a bump in pay. And that's an addition of $342 and some change. So the next one is aid in attendance. That's $399.54. Next one's housebound allowance, $187.17. For children under 18, it's $399.54 for each child under 18, and $342 for the first 2 years after the veteran's death because of the children. So they give you an extra bump for the first 2 years if there were children involved, as what they call kind of a transition period. So what would an example look like? $1,612.75, $1,612.75 monthly basic rate, plus $399.54 for the first child, $399.54 for the second child, $342.46 for the 8-year provision, married to a veteran for the same 8 years that they were also 100% TDIU or permanent and total, or just regular 100%, doesn't matter. And then $399.54, aid in attendance, $342 transitional benefit for those first 2 years, brings it to the total of $343,495.83 per month for the first 2 years. Then it gets reduced by that transitional benefit of $342, reducing it to $3,153.83 moving forward until the children become non-dependents. Then those get minus down as well. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.